Students, hope you will be fine. And today I am going to deliver a lecture on a topic, that is how do organisms reproduce. And you have all known, that means you have studied about the two chapters. That's one is the life process and second is the control and coordination. And this very chapter, which is the third chapter, I am going to start, that is how do organisms reproduce. And in the life process you have studied so many life processes. That means जैसे हमारी बॉडी में रेस्पिरेशन होती है, डाइजेशन होती है, न्यूट्रिशन होती है, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन होती है. All these life processes, they are responsible for survival of an organism. Means कि without these life processes you cannot survive. Means our body cannot survive. We will not remain alive. So but there's a process, that is another process, which is called the reproduction. What is the difference between these processes and this very process? That means the other life processes and the reproduction. Actually these processes, these life processes, जिसमें हमारा respiration आता है, digestion आता है, nutrition आता है, transportation आता है, these life processes are responsible for the survival of an organism. But the process, that is the reproduction, this reproduction, it is not responsible for the survival of an organism. But this process, without this you can survive. But why is it necessary? Actually this process, it is responsible for the continuation of race. That means this reproduction, which is responsible for the continuation of race. That means, what does it mean, the continuation of race? Actually this continuation of race means the continuation of generation, that is the perpetuation of generation. Perpetuation of generation. So that means we can define the reproduction. Reproduction is actually the process by which the new organisms are produced. That means by which our race is continued, by which our generation is continued. क्योंकि अगर हमारी बॉडी में ये वाली प्रोसेस नहीं होगी, that means our life will stop. We cannot continue our generation, we cannot continue our race. So that's why हमारी बॉडी में ये प्रोसेस होती है, जिसका नाम हम देते हैं reproduction, by which we can continue our race, we can produce the new generation, we can produce the new offsprings. So we can define the reproduction. Reproduction is actually the process by which we can continue our race. Or you can say reproduction is the process by which the new organisms are produced from pre-existing ones. Production of new organisms from pre-existing ones. ठीक है, that means the production of new organisms from pre-existing ones. What does it mean, the formation of new individuals or the production of new individuals from pre-existing ones? देखो, this new individuals, they have to produce from the pre-existing ones. क्योंकि अगर हमारे पास pre-existing ones नहीं होंगे, we cannot form the new individual. Pre-existing means कि अगर हम अपनी बात करेंगे, हम pre-existing इसमें क्या नाम देते हैं? That is the parents. And जो new ones, that means these are called the offsprings. Reproduction, which can be defined as the production of new individuals from pre-existing ones. New individuals from pre-existing ones, but within the same species. Same species. ठीक है? That means this formation of new individuals from the pre-existing ones within the same species, this is called the reproduction. तो that means नए organism को कहाँ से बनना है? Pre-existing ones से. Pre-existing ones means the parents and new ones means the offsprings. जैसे अगर हम अपनी बात करेंगे, that means our father and mother, these are called the parents and we are their offsprings. हम उनके offsprings हैं. That means this is the production of new individuals from pre-existing ones. But here the talk is the production of new individuals from pre-existing ones but within the same species. हम same species की बात क्यों कर रहे हैं? Actually, what is a species? Here's a term that means a species. What does it mean, the species? Species means the group of individuals which can interbreed with one another. And can produce fertile offsprings. This is the species means the group of individuals which can interbreed with one another and can produce fertile offsprings. That means हम species का नाम क्यों देते हैं? एक्चुअली ये ऑर्गेनिज्म का एक ग्रुप होता है, एक ही मेंबर्स होते हैं विच कैन इंटरब्रीड विद वन अनदर, जो एक दूसरे के साथ इंटरब्रीड कर सकते हैं. फिर इनके जो ऑफस्प्रिंग्स होंगे दैट विल बी द फर्टाइल, मीन्स कि आगे जाके वो भी एक दूसरे के साथ रिप्रोड्यूस कर सकते हैं. तभी हमने लिखा यहाँ पे द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ न्यू इंडिविजुअल्स फ्रॉम द प्री एग्जिस्टिंग वंस विद इन द सेम स्पीशीज. जैसे मैं आपको एग्जांपल दूंगी कि अगर हम ह्यूमंस की बात करेंगे, ह्यूमंस कैन रिप्रोड्यूस ओनली विद द ह्यूमंस सो दैट दे कैन प्रोड्यूस द फर्टाइल ऑफस्प्रिंग्स. एंड जैसे डॉग्स की बात करेंगे, डॉग्स कैन इंटरब्रीड ओनली विद द डॉग्स कैन रिप्रोड्यूस ओनली विद द डॉग्स एंड कैन प्रोड्यूस द फर्टाइल ऑफस्प्रिंग्स. Cats can reproduce only with the cats and so that they can produce the fertile offspring. That means you can say the species, it's a group of individuals which can interbreed with one another and can produce fertile offspring. तो reproduction की बात करेंगे, that is the production of new individuals from pre-existing ones within the same species. तो एक within the same species में हम reproduce कर सकते हैं और हमारे जो offsprings होंगे that will be the fertile offsprings. After that, we will talk about how the reproduction takes place, how the organisms can reproduce. How the organisms can reproduce. Organisms कैसे reproduce कर सकते हैं? देखो, जैसे अगर हम देखेंगे कि बहुत सारे organisms होते हैं, जैसे हमारे पास plants होते हैं, animals होते हैं, microorganisms होते हैं. All these organisms, they have a need of reproduction. That means they have a need of continuation of their species, continuation of their generations. But how they reproduce, how an organism can reproduce, there are so many methods by which the organisms can reproduce. अगर हम broadly देखेंगे कि organism दो तरह के reproduction करते हैं. One type of reproduction that is called the asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction, these are the two types of reproductions. Broadly हम reproduction को दो types में classify करते हैं. One is called the asexual reproduction, second is called the sexual reproduction. But what does it mean, the asexual reproduction? That means बहुत सारे organisms होते हैं. There are so many organisms in which the reproduction takes place by the help of asexual methods. What does it mean, the asexual? Asexual आपको याद रखना है, which has the need of only single parent, जिसमें involvement of single parent होता है. That means which involves only single parent. That means the organism can produce the new ones, but there must be the single parent. एक parent होना चाहिए. After that they can continue their race. देखो, ये जो reproduction होती है, asexual reproduction, that means in which the new organisms are produced from the pre-existing ones, but there is a need of only single parent. Production of new individuals from pre-existing ones by the involvement of single parent. सिंगल पेरेंट की जरूरत होती है दिस टाइप ऑफ ऑर्गेनिजम्स में, जिनमें रिप्रोडक्शन होती है बाय द हेल्प ऑफ एसेक्सुअल मेथड्स। दैट मीन्स ये सिंगल पेरेंट किन ऑर्गेनिज्म में रिप्रोडक्शन में मदद करता है। जैसे अगर हम देखेंगे कि बहुत सारे ऑर्गेनिजम्स होते हैं, हमारे पास यूनिसेलुलर ऑर्गेनिजम्स होते हैं, मल्टी सेलुलर ऑर्गेनिजम्स होते हैं। यू ऑल नो दैट मीन्स what are the unicellular organisms and multicellular organism। देखो मल्टीसेलुलर, अगर हम यूनिसेलुलर की बात करेंगे दैट मीन्स विच आर मेड अप ऑफ सिंगल सेल, क्योंकि यूनिसेलुलर ऑर्गेनिज्म इट इन्वॉल्व्स बोथ प्लांट्स एंड एनिमल्स। अगर हम प्लांट्स की बात करेंगे इन केस ऑफ यूनिसेलुलर ऑर्गेनिज्म, जैसे हमारे पास algae है, फंजी है। अगर हम एनिमल्स की बात करेंगे यूनिसेलुलर ऑर्गेनिजम्स, तो हमारे पास एमोबा है, बैक्टीरिया है, ठीक है। सो दीज आर द ऑर्गेनिजम्स विच बिलोंग्स टू द यूनिसेलुलर ग्रुप। अगर हम इनकी बात करेंगे हाउ दीज ऑर्गेनिज्म दे कैन रिप्रोड्यूस, हाउ दे कैन कंटिन्यू देयर रेस, एंड दीज ऑर्गेनिज्म दे रिप्रोड्यूस विद वन अनदर, दे कैन रिप्रोड्यूस only by the involvement of single parent। यहाँ इनको सिर्फ एक पेरेंट का होना जरूरी है so that they can continue their race। But these are the simple organism, means the simple unicellular organism। इसके बाद अगर हम multicellular organism की बात करेंगे, जैसे हमारे पास simple multicellular organism, simple complex की बात हमने नहीं की, बल्कि we are only talks about the simple multicellular organisms। जैसे हमारे पास रोज प्लांट होता है, हाइड्रा होता है, प्लानेरिया होता है। These hydra and planaria, these are the multicellular animals, and this rose plant, this is the multicellular plant, and these organisms they can also reproduce by the help of asexual method, means कि they can continue their race by the involvement of single parent, means कि वो अपना रेस कंटिन्यू कर सकते हैं, बट यहाँ पे एक पेरेंट का होना जरूरी होता है, ठीक है। तो इसके बाद अगर हम देखेंगे सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन किन ऑर्गेनिजम्स में होता है, ये सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन क्या होता है। देखो जो सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन होता है दैट मीन्स यहाँ पे आपको न्यू ऑर्गेनिज्म बनेंगे फ्रॉम द प्री एग्जिस्टिंग वंस, बट देयर मस्ट बी द इन्वॉल्वमेंट ऑफ टू पेरेंट्स। सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन that means the production of new individuals from the pre-existing ones, but by the involvement of two parents। If there are no two parents, that means there is no possibility of sexual reproduction। That means this sexual reproduction it involves the involvement of two parents। If these two parents, that means अगर हम फर्स्ट पेरेंट लेंगे that is the male parent, second is the female parent, and this male parent and female parent, both these organisms they have the special type of cells। One is called the male sex cell, male sex cell which is produced by the male parent by the help of male reproductive organs, that is the testes। And in case of female parents में होता है female reproductive organ which are called the ovaries, and these ovaries they can also produce the special type of cell which is called the female sex cell, and these sex cells they are also called as gametes। So that means you can say this male parent they can produce the male gamete and female parent they can produce the female gamete। अगर हम male gamete की बात करेंगे that is the sperm, and in case of female sex cell that is the ova। So in case of these organism जहाँ पे sexual reproduction की possibility होती है वहाँ पे दो parents का होना जरूरी होता है। That means there is the involvement of male parent and female parent, and both these parents they can produce the separate sex cells. After that, अगर हम मेल पेरेंट की बात करेंगे, मेल पेरेंट it will produce the male sex cell that is called the sperm, and the female parent it can produce the female sex cell which is called the ova. And during the process of fertilization, and these sperm and ova they can fuse with one another and they will form the zygote. And finally, this zygote it will develop and it will result in the formation of new individual. So that means यहाँ पे new individual तभी बना जहाँ पे दो parents की involvement थी, that was a male parent and female parent. लेकिन this process where it is possible in case of higher multicellular organism. These higher multicellular organisms they will involve जैसे humans, cats, dogs. But अगर plants की बात करेंगे, it will involve the flowering plants. That means these all organism, all higher multicellular organism, which includes the that means the humans, dogs, cats, etc. And अगर हम plants की बात करेंगे, that means all flowering plants, जहाँ पे new organism तभी बनेगा where there is the involvement of two parents. That means male parent and female parent की ज़रूरत होती है so that the organism can continue their race. So that means this was the introduction about the how do organisms reproduce. In the next video, we will discuss the asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction broadly. Thank you.